Axel Angel begins his journey entrenched in a philosophy of radical cynicism and hyperrationalism. As the young CEO of his own company, operating in the shadow of his legendary, yet absent father, Andy, Axel views the world through a lens of cold functionality. His foundational belief is that humans are essentially sophisticated biological machines, programmed for efficiency and enslaved by systems of their own creation, most notably work, which he sees as a mere mechanism for resource accumulation. Social interactions, including friendship, are largely transactional or psychological pit stops to recharge from the exhaustion of this enslavement. This worldview is his armor, protecting him from the perceived chaos of raw emotion and the undeniable failings of those around him, especially his father. It also positions him as a detached observer, a programmer debugging the faulty code of society, believing he can see the strings that control everyone else. This carefully constructed philosophy is first and most persistently challenged by the force of irrational emotion, primarily in two forms: his nightmares and his mother's love. The recurring, visceral nightmare where he is a puppet, forced to murder a man who resembles his father, is a direct assault on his belief in self-control and rationality. He is not the master of his own machine in these moments. He is a passenger in a body moving against his will. This experience forces him to confront a subconscious reality, a deep-seated trauma and rage towards his father, that his waking, rational mind cannot process or control. It is the first major crack in his armor, a nightly reminder that a part of him operates on a level he cannot deconstruct with logic. Simultaneously, the unconditional, effusive love of his mother, Aku, stands as a constant, living contradiction to his mechanistic model. Her love is illogical, overwhelming, and devoid of the transactional nature he assigns to all other relationships. He cannot categorize it as a simple biological imperative or a social program. While he sometimes dismisses her chatter, he is undeniably anchored by her affection. Her love is the one system he cannot debug because it operates on a principle fundamentally alien to his philosophy: pure, selfless devotion. This relationship is the bedrock of his hidden humanity, the proof that not all connections can be reduced to code. As the plot thrusts him into a corporate and genetic conspiracy, his role as a detached observer becomes untenable. He is forced to act, and his philosophy is tested through his relationships with his friends. His belief that friendship is a convenience is challenged by the genuine, palpable concern he feels for Dexter's mental breakdown and the latter's family turmoil. When Dexter's brother, Julian, goes missing, Axel's investigation is not just a logical puzzle. It is fueled by a loyalty that transcends utility. He risks his status, his safety, and the stability of his company not for a strategic gain, but for his friend. This is demonstrated most powerfully when he defies the direct orders of the powerful establishment figures, Andy and Teodolf, to lead a rescue mission. His actions begin to betray a code of honor and loyalty that his stated philosophy would deny exists. The most profound assault on his worldview comes from his interactions with women, which force him to confront the messy, irrational, and biological realities of attraction, intimacy, and emotion. His relationship with Missy is initially a calculated move to steal genetic data. He plans to use a sedative, maintaining total control. However, Missy, aware of his plan, subverts it by willingly drinking the drugged drink herself. This act of self-sacrificing vulnerability shatters his concept of human interactions as purely strategic. She offers him not just her body but a genuine emotional connection, forcing him to confront the possibility of love, a concept he has always dismissed as a childish fantasy. His internal struggle during their night together, the surge of animalistic desire warring with his principles, represents a monumental internal conflict. He is no longer just analyzing human behavior, he is being consumed by it. This theme is further complicated by the arrival of Lena, the elite soldier from the secret organization. She represents a different challenge, raw, unfiltered desire, and a personality that mirrors his own confidence but channels it through emotion and provocation. Their dynamic is a violent tango of attraction and power struggles. When he nearly chokes her in a moment of furious passion, it horrifies him because it reveals an emotional, reactive side he cannot control. Her persistence and her own tragic past challenge his contempt for those he sees as programmed by the system. She is not a blind machine. She is a human being fighting for her own identity and history, mirroring his own quest in a way he is reluctant to admit. This culminates in the journey outside the city to the dangerous D30 zone. Here, his rational understanding of the world is completely upended. He encounters a brutal war between humans and the Cyclops, a superior species. This proves that his society's narrative, that their city is the pinnacle of existence, protected for its own safety, is a lie. The outside world is not a dead wasteland but a vibrant, deadly, and complex ecosystem of conflict. This shatters his parochial worldview and forces him to see his own civilization as a small, controlled experiment in a much larger and more dangerous world. The mission to save Julian transforms from a personal rescue into a philosophical pilgrimage, exposing the vast ignorance that underpinned his initial certainty. Finally, his philosophy is challenged by the overarching theme of parenthood and legacy. His bitter disdain for his father, Andy, is based on the man's failure as a family man, a failure Axel sees as the ultimate human shortcoming. Yet, as the story progresses, he is forced to grapple with Andy's immense influence and the possibility that his father's actions, however flawed, are driven by a larger, more complex sense of responsibility for the entire city. Andy's letters, demonstrating his deep understanding of Axel's mind and even a perverse pride in his son's brilliance, complicate Axel's simplistic narrative of paternal abandonment. He is forced to consider that his father might be more than just a hypocrite. He might be a tragic figure trapped in a system of his own making, much like Axel himself. By the end of his journey, Axel Angel's initial philosophy is in ruins. His belief in humanity as simple machines has been demolished by love, loyalty, and sacrificial vulnerability. His faith in his own rationality has been compromised by nightmares, desire, and rage. His understanding of his own world has been exploded by the discovery of a larger, more dangerous one. He does not arrive at a new, neat philosophy to replace the old one. Instead, he is left in a state of profound and transformative uncertainty. He is no longer a cynical observer but an active, emotional, and deeply vulnerable participant in a reality far more complex and mysterious than he ever imagined. The killer genes were not just a threat to be solved, but a mirror held up to his own soul, revealing that the most alien and uncontrollable territory was not the world outside the city, but the human heart beating within his own chest. But before ending the video, let's return to a single, poignant moment that perfectly encapsulates the shattering of Axel's philosophical worldview: his contemplation of the Rin River worm. After his intense night with Missy, Axel notices a millimetric worm from the Rin River clinging to her coat. In a moment of profound reflection, he laments the creature's fate, seeing in it a tragic symbol of freedom. He thinks, this worm can change its habitat without needing a permit. It is free despite its death, unlike humans, who are constrained despite being alive. In this moment, the worm represents everything Axel feels he and his society have lost: the ability to act on instinct, to move beyond artificial boundaries, to pursue authenticity even at the cost of destruction. It is the ultimate romanticized other, a being that operates outside the oppressive systems of control, licenses, and surveillance that define his own life. The crushing irony and the true philosophical blow come later when Lena reveals the devastating truth. The worm was not a symbol of freedom at all. It was a sophisticated espionage device, a bug in the most literal sense, planted by the secret organization to spy on the citizens of Medenbo. This revelation systematically demolishes Axel's entire line of thought. What he perceived as a pure act of instinctual migration was, in fact, a calculated, engineered act of control. The freedom he projected onto the worm was an illusion. This single discovery serves as a microcosm of his entire journey. It proves that his perception of reality is fundamentally untrustworthy. The systems of control are so pervasive, so insidious, that they can co-opt the very symbols he uses to critique them. The natural world, which he looked to as an escape from human artifice, is itself infected by it. His philosophical refuge, the idea that there exists a state of being beyond manipulation, is proven to be a fantasy. The worm is not free. It is the ultimate puppet, a literal tool designed to strip others of their freedom. In this realization, Axel is confronted with the most terrifying possibility of all, that in a world of total control, even the concept of freedom itself can be weaponized and used as a lie.